Every single morning, millions of people wake up and make a choice that is silently destroying their health, and they have absolutely no idea they are doing it. They skip the nuts, they grab the cereal, they pour the juice, and they feel completely fine about it. That 30-second decision made while half asleep is costing them their energy, their focus, their heart health, and potentially years of their life. And the painful irony is that the solution has been sitting on a grocery store shelf this entire time, priced at a few dollars, completely ignored. It is a walnut. It is an almond. It is a pistachio. And what these tiny compressed biological capsules can do to your body is something most people never get to discover, because they were taught to fear them. They were programmed to see the word fat and put the bag back on the shelf without a second thought. But that programming was not an accident. It was the result of one of the biggest and most damaging lies ever told in the history of modern nutrition. It started in the 1970s when a scientist named Ancel Keys published research claiming that dietary fat was the primary driver of heart disease in America. His data was later found to be deliberately manipulated. He ignored entire countries whose numbers contradicted his theory and only published the ones that supported it. But the damage was already done. The message had reached governments, food companies, and every headline in every newspaper across the country. Fat was declared the enemy. Low-fat products flooded the market, and an entire generation was quietly redirected away from some of the most healing foods on the planet. When companies removed fat from their products, the food tasted terrible. So they replaced it with refined sugar, corn syrup, and cheap industrial oils to make it palatable again. Obesity exploded. Diabetes became an epidemic. Chronic inflammation became the defining health crisis of the modern world. And the foods that could have prevented all of it sat on shelves being ignored. Your body paid the price for that lie every single day. And it is time to understand exactly what was taken from you. Right now, inside your body, a silent war is being fought at the cellular level, and most people are losing it without knowing it has even started. Free radicals are unstable oxygen molecules produced as a natural byproduct of your own metabolism. They are missing an electron, which makes them chemically aggressive and destructive. They steal electrons from your healthy cells, damaging the membrane, corrupting the DNA, and triggering waves of inflammation that spread through your system like an invisible fire. You feel this damage even if you cannot name it. It is the stiffness in your joints when you first get out of bed. It is the brain fog that settles in every afternoon without warning. It is the reason your body takes 3 days to recover from a workout that used to take 1. It is the reason you feel older than your age suggests you should. That is not just aging. That is oxidative damage accumulating faster than your body can repair itself. And the primary defense your immune system has against it is antioxidants, vitamin E polyphenols, flavonoids, magnesium, selenium, zinc. Every single one of these compounds exists in extraordinary concentrations inside the foods you were told to avoid. 1 ounce of almonds alone delivers 37% of your recommended daily vitamin E, the fat-soluble antioxidant that works specifically inside your cell membranes where free radical damage first begins. Walnuts contain more polyphenols than almost any other tree nut compounds that cross the blood-brain barrier and actively reduce neurological inflammation building silently over years. Cashews are one of the richest food sources of magnesium on the planet, a mineral involved in over 300 biological reactions, including blood pressure regulation, blood sugar control, sleep quality, and muscle recovery. By avoiding these foods, you are not being disciplined. You are cutting off your immune system's supply line and sending it into battle completely unarmed every single day. Now here is where the science becomes genuinely surprising, because what nuts do to your body weight completely defies everything the low-fat era taught you. A landmark study published in Nutrition Research in 2019 tracked the eating habits and body composition of thousands of adults across multiple years. The researchers expected to find that people who ate more nuts gained more weight. Nuts are calorie-dense. The math should have been simple. What they found instead stopped the research team completely. People who ate at least 28 grams of nuts every single day consistently gained less weight than the people who carefully avoided them. More calories consumed from nuts, less fat stored in the body. That is not a paradox. That is your body's chemistry working in a way no calorie label can capture. When you eat a processed carbohydrate, a cracker, a pretzel, a slice of white bread, your digestive system breaks it down almost instantly. Glucose floods your bloodstream. Insulin fires hard to deal with the spike. Then blood sugar crashes, and within 20 minutes, you are hungrier than you were before you started eating. That cycle, repeated across every day of your life, is the metabolic trap that keeps people locked in constant overeating while never feeling genuinely full or satisfied. A nut operates on a completely different biological timeline. The healthy fats slow digestion dramatically. The fiber fills your stomach and feeds your gut bacteria simultaneously. The protein triggers the release of satiety hormones that travel to your brain and deliver one clear message: we have enough. You can stop now. Not because your willpower held out, because your body's own chemistry is finally working the way it was designed to when given the right inputs. This is the difference between eating food and actually fueling your biology. And once you experience genuine satiety, you cannot go back to the constant low-grade hunger that processed food keeps you trapped inside. For anyone practicing intermittent fasting or eating one meal a day, this is especially critical to understand deeply. The single biggest reason people fail at fasting is not willpower. It is that they open their eating window with the wrong foods, spike their insulin immediately, and spend the rest of the day fighting hunger they created themselves. A small handful of nuts at the start or close of your eating window stabilizes your insulin response, provides slow, clean fuel, and carries you across fasted hours without the spiral that defeats most people before they build any real momentum. Now we need to go deeper into your bloodstream, into the walls of your arteries, into the biological territory where today's choices determine what your life looks like at 60 and 70 years old. Your cardiovascular system is a closed loop, a network of vessels and pressure regulators delivering oxygen and nutrients to every single cell in your body. When it is healthy, blood moves freely, pressure stays balanced, and every organ receives exactly what it needs to operate at full capacity. When it begins to fail, when the vessels narrow, when pressure climbs, when flow becomes restricted, everything suffers at once. Your heart strains, your brain slows, your muscles fatigue faster, your energy collapses. Primary driver of this failure in the modern world is atherosclerosis, the slow, silent accumulation of plaque inside your artery walls, driven by elevated LDL cholesterol and chronic inflammation working together over decades. LDL cholesterol in normal amounts serves important functions. It carries fat-soluble vitamins, supports hormone production, and helps repair damaged tissue throughout your body. But when LDL levels climb too high and stay elevated too long, the excess begins coating the interior walls of your arteries like thick, sticky sludge, slowly narrowing a pipe. Over months and years, those deposits harden, the arterial walls thicken, the opening inside narrows, and your heart must generate more and more force to push blood through a system that is quietly closing down around it. This does not announce itself dramatically. It is a slow erosion happening silently over decades, showing no obvious symptoms until the damage is severe enough to cause a crisis. Inside nuts, there is a class of plant compounds called phytosterols, and these molecules are one of the most underrated cardiovascular tools in the entire human food supply. Phytosterols are molecularly structured almost identically to cholesterol. When they arrive in your digestive tract, they compete directly with LDL for the same absorption receptors. Your body cannot easily distinguish between them, so the phytosterols take the slots, and the LDL gets blocked from entering your bloodstream entirely. Less LDL absorbed, cleaner blood, less sludge accumulating on your artery walls. It is a passive, continuous protective mechanism that activates every single time you eat a handful of nuts. A comprehensive 2022 review in Food Reviews International found that different nuts act with remarkable precision on different aspects of your cholesterol biology. Almonds, peanuts, pecans, and walnuts function as active LDL reducers, blocking new cholesterol from entering, while helping your body clear the LDL already circulating in your blood. Hazelnuts and pistachios target the other side entirely. They elevate HDL, the beneficial lipoprotein that patrols your bloodstream, collecting dangerous deposits and carrying them back to the liver to be safely eliminated. Eating a varied mix of nuts daily creates a cardiovascular system that is actively cleaning itself, removing old buildup, blocking new deposits, maintaining the arterial flexibility that keeps blood pressure balanced and blood flow strong. Population studies on this produce numbers that are genuinely difficult to ignore. Eating nuts just once a week reduces heart disease risk by approximately 4%. Commit to a daily serving, and that protection compounds to a 27% reduction in heart disease risk. nearly a third less likely to develop the condition that kills more people than any other disease on the planet. And the protection reaches further than your heart. A 2021 review from the International Journal of Food Sciences Nutrition found compelling evidence linking regular nut consumption with a meaningfully reduced risk of colon cancer. The fiber, antioxidants, and anti-inflammatory compounds appear to create a protective environment inside your gut, disrupting the cellular conditions that allow abnormal cells to form and grow unchecked. Your heart, your brain, your gut, your immune system, your metabolism. Nuts are working across all of these systems simultaneously with a consistency no single pharmaceutical drug has ever matched. But here is where the story takes a sharp and important turn. Because everything described above only works if you are eating the right form of these foods. The moment you open a bag of honey, roasted peanuts, or smokehouse-flavored almonds, you are no longer holding a health food. You are holding a beautifully packaged biological trap. The sodium content in heavily processed nuts, often exceeding 200 milligrams per small serving, actively works against everything the nut itself is trying to do for your cardiovascular system. Excess sodium forces your blood vessels to constrict and stiffen. It drives blood pressure upward. It increases stroke risk at the exact same moment. The phytosterols and antioxidants inside the nut are working to bring it all back down. You are pressing the accelerator and the brake at the same time and calling it a health choice. Your body cannot win that battle no matter how hard it tries. The rule is simple and absolute: raw nuts or unsalted, dry roasted only. If the ingredient list contains anything beyond the nut itself, put it down and walk away without hesitation. Now there is one specific nut that carries a warning serious enough to stand entirely on its own, and that is the Brazil nut. Brazil nuts are extraordinary in one very specific and dangerous way. They are the single most concentrated natural source of selenium found anywhere in the entire food supply on Earth. Selenium is genuinely essential. Your thyroid cannot function without it. Your immune response depends on it. And for men specifically, it is directly tied to testosterone production and reproductive health. You need selenium. That is not in question. But the Brazil nut contains so much of it that the line between a beneficial dose and a toxic one is closer than almost any other food in existence. Eating just a few too many Brazil nuts consistently can push your selenium levels into a dangerous range, a condition called selenium toxicity that arrives gradually and confusingly. Hair begins falling out in unusual amounts. Nails become brittle and start breaking without obvious cause. A deep fatigue sets in that does not respond to rest or sleep. Eventually, neurological symptoms appear: tingling, numbness, and strange sensations in your hands and feet that seem to come from absolutely nowhere. Most people never connect these symptoms to something sitting in their kitchen. They go to doctors, they run expensive tests, they wonder what invisible disease has found them. The answer is in the snack bowl on their counter. The rule for Brazil nuts is non-negotiable: 1 to 2 per day maximum. That dose delivers a powerful therapeutic benefit. Anything beyond that, consumed consistently, builds toward toxicity. Treat them like a prescription medication: precise, intentional, and never casual or mindless. So after all of this, the history, the science, the mechanisms, the warnings, what does the right daily practice actually look like in real life? The answer is smaller and simpler than most people expect. A single effective serving of nuts requires no meal planning, no preparation, and no significant investment of time or money. 12 almonds, 24 pistachios, 7 walnut halves, 1 level tablespoon of natural nut butter with no added oils or sugar. That is the threshold. That small daily investment is enough to activate every protective mechanism we have discussed. Now, picture 2 versions of yourself standing side by side 10 years from today, shaped entirely by the small daily choices made between now and then. The first version kept walking past the nut aisle, kept riding the blood sugar roller coaster, kept feeding the inflammation and starving the immune system of its most critical tools. That version wakes up stiff every morning, drags through every afternoon, moves through a fog that never fully lifts, feels tired in a way that no amount of sleep seems to fix. The second version made a different choice, not a dramatic one, not an expensive or complicated one, just a consistent, daily, informed one. That version ate walnuts to protect their brain, almonds to shield their cells from oxidative damage, pistachios to send a cleaning crew through their arteries every single day without fail. That version is sharper, leaner, and biologically younger than their age suggests is possible. Their arteries are flexible, their mind is clear. Their body moves the way it was designed to move. They have been compounding their health the same way you compound financial wealth quietly, consistently, one small daily action at a time. And the returns are extraordinary. The knowledge is yours now. The science is no longer a secret buried in academic journals. The path forward is simpler than you ever imagined it would be. Do not just snack. Do not just eat to fill the gap between meals. Fuel your body with the precision and intention it deserves, because it is the only one you are ever going to get.